Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Today is 4/20, April the 20th, 2021, 7 o'clock Central here in Florida. We have quite a few things we want to cover really quickly with you. We are going to go over the SPY, the QQQ, ES futures, some Apple, and a few other tickers here. And I'll probably end with just a few other comments. Before we get started, I want to just go ahead and familiarize you with my charts. So in the upper here, you will see these are my current positions in my Thinkorswim account. Also, we are looking at a daily chart on the left, and on the right, we'll be looking at the 4 hour. Let's go ahead and get started here with SPY. As you all know, I am using what's called the neutral strategy. I love using this strategy. Been doing it for almost 5 years now. It works very, very well. And the way that I trade it is basically I go long outside of the top neutral once we get a close there, looking for those targets to the upside, and then short once we close or just as we move underneath there. Now, overall, we need to be looking at our banners that are at the top of the screen. These are trend banners that I've developed here, and they are specific to trendy charts. So this week, as you can see, we are already in the neutral. A little bit different for the last several weeks. We've just been extremely bullish. We were forecasting an inside week, and so far we are inside. So, will the market continue down? As far as the neutral strategy is concerned, I'm going to show you a couple things here. We started to break down. Yesterday we made 150% on the put side. I am no longer in puts on the SPY, but I want to give you some levels to watch as we open up here. Now, it's typical on a down day that the futures will start to move up towards the open to give investors a little bit more of a hope scenario. But the idea here is to think about your pivots. Do we make higher highs? Let me go ahead and show you also by using some Fibonacci. So I'm going to grab my Fibonacci tool. We're going to take the pivot high here, and then we're going to find the low. Please remember these levels. Price needs to break above 415.92 in order for this next pivot, or just above that, actually, I apologize, 416.26. Okay, so above the 618 and above 416.26. If price cannot break above there, I would look for a continuation down. If for some reason we flush on open, I expect price to come into 411.52 by 411.07. As long as 414, right now we are breaking down below the neutral, I do expect price to come down to these yellow lines. Speaking about those yellow lines, these are trendy edges on a weekly basis. Okay, these are weekly edges. And really that's what's in play this week. We're inside on the week, and I would expect this range. So for us right now, if we cannot get above this level, then we look for price to come to the lower level. It really is that simple. We're now breaking down below the neutral, again looking for price to come into this level where I would expect buyers to show up. If we do not find buyers here, then again we're looking for the next level at 408. Notice that over here on the left we have a green arrow. This is also a trendy indicator identifying buyers. Okay, if I were to take this level here, come across, you would see we are very close to that. This could be a buy the dip scenario if price holds the low this morning. All right, but again, buy the dip scenario when the overall trend is neutral just means that it might simply come up about 50 to 61.8% of this range. Again, you could throw those fibs on there, just like this, and price would need to get over the 618 and the level given to you earlier at 416.26. If we continue to reject these areas, again, I do expect 411.52. Overall sentiment on the SPY for this week is an inside week to down. The overall trend right now is neutral for the week, yearly extremely bullish, and then our monthly extremely bullish. All right. All right, let's move into the QQQs. So over the weekend, I sent out our trade plan here for the Qs. And as you can see, it's not been easy. So I did go short yesterday. I was up and I continue to hold this. This is an H pattern, just like the SPY. And it breaks down and then it's coming back up and so forth. Let me go ahead and draw this out for you. All right, so an H pattern looks a lot like this. A lot of times what happens is you get that extreme sell-off and then we bounce up. And typically that's about 40 to 50% of that range. We're going to do the same thing we did with SPY. Going to come down, find that low, and notice that price is hanging out at around 40 to 50% there. Okay, so for the next pivot high on the Qs, we need to see above 339.67. This would give us a new pivot high, okay, which would show that we are making higher highs within a down range. Again, I do expect it to be inside. I would like to see continued trend into the yellow line as well. You can see here the top is resistance, the bottom is support. My target for the Qs is 335.78 to 333.56 as long as we stay underneath this 4-hour cloud or underneath that 50 that I just showed you. Okay. So trade plan here, I am short. I am short I'm short 333 puts. So again, looking for possible move into this level down here. Okay. If for some reason we break above the next pivot, again, we could see a spike into 341, but again, it looks sideways. We have Netflix coming up this afternoon, could have an impact on the Qs we'll see tonight. All right. All right, so our next one, let's go ahead and look over the ES futures. For any future traders out there, basically what you're looking at is every 10 points in the ES, we're talking $1 in the SPY. All right, so this is my look here. This is for the week. All right, we have this red box up here, green box down here. Personally, I'm super bullish, all right? And the market in general always have been for many, many years. However, we need a good pullback. It just doesn't feel right, right? Things are moving in your ETFs, equities down. Things just aren't jiving lately. We need a good old-fashioned pullback. But are we really going to get that deep of a pullback right before earnings? Most of the time we do not. All right, most of the time we do not. So, but if we do, where would I like to get long? Personally, it would be down here at the green box at or around 4,004 by 39.55. And we do have a strategy once price comes into here, and we do teach that how to take this trade to the upside. The way that I like to approach the market and equity is to slow down, not buy big. This is not the time to be pressing on the gas. Anytime we get close to the red, we're looking at trimming our equity positions, option positions. And then if we get the pullback, we're looking at adding into long term and taking swings back up to the red box. That's how this works. We use ES futures for that. And we use NASDAQ futures, and you can use the Dow and all that good stuff. But I like to concentrate here on the ES futures. So today, what could we look for? 41,444. It lasted yesterday for a nice little bounce, and you can see that here. Let me go ahead and zoom in for you. You can see that our lines worked very well for a nice little pop for our future traders. And then this morning we continued down. And right here, this yellow line, this is really where I'd like to see price come into. So around 41.10, and let's see if buyers step in there. If for some reason buyers cannot step in there, then again, we're looking for a move back down to this green arrow at around 40.50, and then we could see my 4,004 by midweek or so. If for some reason the futures start to bid, so let's just draw this out. I like to draw it out so everybody can visualize. Maybe we get this, 2 or 3 days down, maybe 4 days. We find buyers and then we start to round out going into next week. Then we could see something like this, nice cup, okay? Then a pullback and potentially a cup and handle into the red box. All right. We'll just take it one day at a time right now. All right. All right, so that's ES futures, and then we have Apple, right? They have an event today. Everybody loves the Apple event. Typically, it's, past history will show you whatever, but I'm going to give you some technicals, all right? And this is how it's going to look. 133.45 holds, we're looking for 136.76. Over 136.76, 138.47. Those are my levels. If 133.45 cannot hold, then we're looking for a pullback into this daily 9 EMA at around 132 by 131. Those are my levels to the downside for Apple, and to the upside 133.45 holds, 136.76, 138.47. All right? So not bad of a risk. So a plan itself would be, hey, my stops are underneath 133, 40. Current price is 134.80, not bad. And then these are my reward to the upside, 136.76 and 138.47. All right. All right. So next one here, we're going to take a look at Google. All right. So I talked a lot about Google yesterday because we wanted to. We went short some apps. I went short the SPY. We went short the Qs. We did really well on those shorts, and we're just kind of sitting in some of those right now. And I said, I like Google as a possible pullback. I'm not saying that we need to short it because price has just been moving up or that it's extended. I'm just looking at levels here. And I want to get the best bang for my buck. And specifically, I don't want to pay the premium for the put side. What I'm interested in is a possible pullback into a level where we have buyers. Let me go ahead and explain that. All right, so we're looking at Google over here on the left on the daily. It's a nice inside candle and up. It rejected the top area here that we had, and it's pulled back. All right, remember what I said, we have the yellow lines for this week. As long as price is staying underneath 2288.3, I would love to see it come back down into 2246. Now, I like the spreads around there if I'm looking for a little bit of protection in the market, but also think about this. The overall trend in the entire market is it's extremely bullish when we're looking at all the different like ETF, the QQQ, DIA, IWM, long term. So the question is, if you get a nice hit tonight on Netflix and we have a nice earnings week, are we just going to consolidate and stay inside? And what happens is a lot of traders will try to buy far out of the money during this phase, and it'll just all basically go to waste because it's just nice and tight. Personally, I would like to sell some premium outside of levels. So one thing you could do is look at, call credit spreads up here and put credit spreads down here, making yourself an iron condor. All right. And if one direction starts taking off, you can just manage that. And I love this type of scenario when we're just going sideways. But once again, Google, I may be taking a short. If we cannot make a new pivot high, I'd expect price to come down here to 2246. Yesterday when we were looking at these, I want to say they were paying 1 to 6 or 6 to 1, 7 to 1, something like that, risk to reward on a debit spread. All right. So something I'll be taking a look at a little bit later in the morning. Let's go ahead and look at APPS. This trade was up about 50% yesterday. I left it on just in case we get a nice pullback into our trendy level, and I just want to go ahead and show you that as well. So we went ahead and went short up here. Stop was at 77.21. I'm looking for a pullback into our trendy level, which is this pink line, which is at around $66. So we're still quite a bit away from that. The weekly ATR is about 14. It's definitely doable. What I would tell you is over here on the 4-hour chart, it's really mining the EMAs, all right? So the exponential moving average. Every time it comes up, it gets close, it rejects. It comes close, it rejects. It comes up, it rejects. And same thing. You could get a nice solid bounce here and price could move up towards the 73.5, 74 level, and you may see a rejection. Okay. Now personally on my put, I would like to see further continuation down before I see a move up into this level, just because of timing. These are weeklies for me. All right. All right, so a couple other things I want to go over that I like. I had a trade in GS. Those went to, we added on the dip. We made, I think it came out to about 50%. I love this chart. It's pulling back a little bit here, pre-market, and that's okay. All right. But overall, I'm paying attention to the weekly. This is a long-term trade for me. I'm looking for a move up into 352. All right, 352, and then all-time highs 357 and 372. Nice rounding bottom, higher lows, higher highs within a down range. Nice cup forming here on the weekly. Looks like this. And at the end of the day, as long as 331 holds, I'd like to hold all the way up into the upper boxes. All right, this morning, a little bit of pullback, and if you just look at it this way, it's just, most likely kind of inside and consolidating in this area, which can be really frustrating. The biggest thing is, like I tell all of our members here, you commit to a long-term trade, you need to be paying attention to the weekly candles, not the 5 minute or the 4 hour candles. Okay, very very important. All right, so that's GS. And then another one that I really like is Lulu. Even though it's not working yet for me, I am, open to the idea of still adding to this trade. It's got 30 plus days. I'm going to put this on the weekly for you. And if you have any feedback, you're more than welcome to comment below. You can see here we have a nice rounding bottom, higher lows. We just need to get out of the cloud. And I knew before taking this trade, it wouldn't be the easiest trade. What trade is really that easy nowadays? It's not that easy, okay? So we need to break out of the cloud. And once we do that, we could see 331.85, 338, and all of these lines to the upside are going to be resistance. My final target for Lulu, I would really like to see 350 going into earnings. Earnings is coming up, not until June the 3rd. So you could actually see 369 before that happens. What voids this trade is a close on the weekly underneath the 314 level. All right. All right, so overall, I don't see much going on in the market right now, but before I end, I would like to talk about Bitcoin really quick because we do have some Bitcoin traders out there, and anyone that likes to trade should appreciate the trendy charts here. It's one thing to be a good chartist. I think, one thing I've noticed on Twitter is it's really grown as far as chartists go. But far as trading, what separates us here is I have a brokerage account that's linked to my trading room. There is 100% transparency. You see exactly what I trade. You get what I trade within milliseconds. There's not a delay. There's no delay in price. People actually see what I'm actually doing here. And so not only do they get to see what I'm doing, but I'm actually using the charts that I give out. So here on Bitcoin, we have a red box and a green box, and we like to use this for a longer term approach. It's easy for a trader to come in who's a chartist and say, hey, I took it from the green box into the red box and so forth. But really, was it easy? I don't think so. That's not how trading is. So we like to do is daily coaching and trading to get us from one destination to another because I understand that it's not easy holding levels. It's not easy holding options or even equity. And sometimes we need a coach to help us get there when we're pulling back or consolidating. We need to understand where those levels are, where we might want to continue staying in the trade or potentially breaking or getting out of that trade. On Bitcoin, I'm going to make it simple for anyone that's interested out there. It's hands off until it can get back above the 63,508. So if you're long term, don't sweat it. Just hang out. If you're thinking about Bitcoin or anything that deals with Bitcoin, like Mara, Riot, I could go on, potentially a better buy is going to be around the 46,970. So really at the end of the day, anything between 46,970, 69, 469, 69 and 63508 is just a hold neutral area. Just leave it alone. Currently on the weekly, it's come in and tested the 9 EMA, and you're getting a relief bounce, as I would say. A lot of the market needs a reset. Don't be mad at it. It's okay if we pull back a little bit. All right. I could tell you, a lot of new traders are like, what do you mean? Why do we need a reset? Well, because if it was up to us, folks, the market would go up every single day, right? But think of yourself as an investor or somebody that wants to put a lot of money into a trade. It is not easy putting a lot of money into a trade at the top. It's just not, especially if you've been around for a long time. See, new traders, they don't have anything yet, right? They have no experiences to go off. And the market is going to create that experience for you. And when it creates it for you, it causes a little PTSD when it comes time to try to take a trade at the all-time high. So, a lot of veteran traders and traders like myself, we like to wait for price to pull back into an area where we are comfortable buying. You want to be able to make money. You don't want to sit up here at the top and sit on eggshells and just kind of, mosey around. So, again, I like it further down towards 46,970 or back above 63,508. This is a holding period within here. Two more requests that we had some traders that asked about. We're going to look at Etsy. Etsy's down just a little bit. I want to show you what I have here on the trendy charts. We're going to pull up a weekly and a 4-hour. All right. So this is what I call just consolidation. You can see that it's a sideways trend. We have higher lows, but we have lower highs. When you have lower highs and higher lows, it creates this diagonal or sideways trend. All right, that's exactly what's going on here. This is not an easy trade. The easier trade is on or when we create another high. All right, or we find a level where we're comfortable buying. That level for me, for Etsy, is going to be right around this 207.5 to right here. So if I were to give you some targets, let's take this away. This was a little while ago. 207 to 201. All right. Now what do? That's a $6 spread. For me, I would wait until price comes in and then the market starts to bounce and we start to see buyers come in and we get that reclaim. Once we get the reclaim around this level, then I'd be interested in taking it to the upside for a long-term trade. That's Etsy. Now, what if it does not come back to the box and I'm wrong? Well, for me on a 4-hour, needs to get probably above 216.5 before I even get it interested. So mark that. Come up here around 216.5, 216.65. This whole entire area is a neutral. Again, until we get a reclaim here or we break out above here. It's easy. You just set alerts, just like this. This is what I do every single day. And you wait. One of these will happen. Don't FOMO into trades, especially when the broad market is basically going sideways. Nothing to do there. All right. So that's Etsy. And there's RBLX. All right. So we don't have a lot of data or a lot of candle structure on this. This is a newer issue. It came out not too long ago. You can see here, it's kind of a mess, really. All right. But what I will tell you is in the last several days or even the last couple weeks was not the time to buy. That was pretty much given. You're making lower highs, okay, on the 4-hour. And now you're making lower lows. You're in a downtrend. The weekly is extremely bearish. Doesn't mean that it will continue bearish. So what I want to do is take the lower time frame and I want to concentrate on something bigger to see if I can find some sort of level. The level that I came up with is 71.92 by 67.18. Somewhere in here, I would expect to see buyers, but I'm not biased. It doesn't matter if it doesn't happen. Let's say it just keeps doing this. All right, and it breaks right through. Again, what I would like to see is I'm going to wait for a reclaim on a 4-hour, folks. That means I wait for the 4-hour to absolutely close. I'm not trying to speculate between. All right. So if we get the reclaim, and if not, as I said last night on Twitter, I'd be looking for the level of 62.60, which is just below here. All right. So that's what we're doing here. To the upside, All right, say it doesn't even dip in the box today. Same thing, it's Etsy. I like to see it get above the cloud. This is not an easy trade. No matter, this is like one of the easiest things to go back and test. Okay? And what I mean by that is if you have an EMA cloud on your chart, even if you don't have a cloud, it doesn't matter. It's just fancy, right? It gives you a nice visual, you could see it. So just put on, whether you like an 8 or 9, it doesn't matter. I use the 9, the 22, the 44. All right? That's what I use for trendy charts. And you go back and you look at a higher time frame, the easier trades are above the cloud. The most difficult trades are below and in the cloud because you're under pockets of supply and resistance. All right? Doesn't mean that we can't start a position down here. It doesn't mean it's not going to work, but you really need to be good on your entry. We're really good on our entries as well. So again, just be patient down here. Wait for this to happen. That's RBLX. Okay. I don't see anything really far as trade flash goes this morning. There's not a whole lot going on in the market. Let's go back over here and check out the SPY and the Qs. All right, so SPY is still coming down a little bit. You can see that still below the 414. Over here, I'm going to put you on a weekly now. So on the left side is your weekly, on the right side the 4 hour. All right, so inside week so far. Well, what constitutes that for me? It has to be in the body, right? So if price starts to break down below 410, then it starts to look a little bit uglier. All right, just to let you know, we got a gap down here, and we got a 9 EMA that's confluent to 402. I said earlier that I would like to see a pullback into these levels. All right. Now understand, I do have a nice mix bag here. I got some long-term trades, the upside, and I got some short-term puts. All right, and so that's what's going on here. I am short the Qs. Again, like I said, we were positive yesterday for a bit, and then it came back up. But as I told my team, my goal for this trade is just to stay short unless we get a new pivot high or we break out above this 342.57. All right. But for me, I showed you earlier, it needs to get above the 50,618 of this range. And if it can't, then I'm going to go ahead and stay short. And again, that level is at or around 340.30, somewhere in there. All right. Looking for 335.78. I would expect a nice bounce here. Potential bounce all the way back up to 338. If it flushes 335.78, then we could see 333.56. All right. Let's go into the Dow really quick. I just feel like talking. Got nothing better to do. All right, everything's set up. This is the Dow Jones, and we want to set you up on the 419 chart. And all of these are given to Trendy members here over the weekend. That's the difference, right? We're doing all our stuff over the weekend, so we're not scrambling every day. I also get the link to the chart, so traders with Thinkorswim can put this on their chart as well. It's not going to give you my scripts, but it is going to give you all the neutral levels. It's going to look just like this without the lines, the yellow lines. Okay, so far inside week, it's broke below 339. You could see this is a great example of how our strategy works. You go short under 339.81, and then boom, you wake up for really close to the targets here. These are pretty tight though. I'm not trading the Dow. I'm not trading the IWM, which we're going to look at really quick. And I do keep all these. So if you're kind of interested in what we do, not only do I teach how to put this together for your own, right? That's what I'm doing. I'm teaching people how to trade. I'm not keeping anything secret. So you get to come in here. We got videos on how to create the neutral strategy and so forth, which is really cool. Let's come over here. We're going to come into 419 and look for this week. So you can see all these dates. We have all of our data there, and I could tell you these went a lot. So here's the 419. We broke below the neutral yesterday. This was a beautiful trade, and you could see this one, actually, this is a great, you could see here it came down into the lower edge, and it did bounce. This is what I'm looking for in the Qs and the SPY and so forth. So nice H pattern. came right into the lower edge. We're finding support there. If for some reason that breaks down, 217, 214. All right. All right, guys. Well, good luck to you. And again, I think I said this last week. Depending on how the market conditions are, I'll jump live and go live trading with you right after the market opens or right before the market opens. This is my time to kind of hang out. We don't open up the market till 8:30, right? When you're in Florida Central Time, which is really awesome. So I wake up about 5 o'clock, do some stuff, look at some charts, maybe mess around with some futures. But for right now, it's 7:30. We got an hour to go. A lot can change. These levels work very, very well. If you got questions, reach out to us. If you like the content, give us a like, retweet it, tell your friends to come watch it. It's free. Tuesday and Thursdays. Why not? And we've had some great success on these free trendy Tuesday and Thursdays. So continue to come watch us here. And learn a little bit. And if you want to check out the website, you could do that at trendytrading.co. Um, Other than that, I'll see you guys soon. I'll try to jump on here right before open. Good luck.